Everyone, I'm back with Florida State. I recently watched a whole bunch of Florida State games, and I want to talk about some prospects because they have a lot. And I'm going to start with the big name, EJ Manuel, the quarterback for Florida State. And I'm not overly impressed. I don't think right now, I don't think he's the starter in the NFL. Now, that could change. He could improve. And if he makes some slight improvements, I see the benefit. I mean, he's big, he's athletic, he has a big arm. Those are things you can't teach. So great size, plenty of upside. He has the athletic ability, gets the ball down the field. I mean, he looks like an NFL quarterback, especially this new breed that we're seeing in the NFL of big guys that can move, like we've seen with Cam Newton, Andrew Luck, players like that. If the primary receiver is open, he's very difficult to stop. And, if that first read is there, it is tough to stop EJ Manuel. He improved throughout the season. He toned down his mistakes. I saw improvement from him. If he keeps taking those steps, I think he can go in the first round. Right now, I'd put him more as a top 100 pick, a third rounder. He seems to do better with scripted plays with only one read, so I think there's some things between the ears that needs to happen than the more complex ones. He struggled against better defensive schemes that confused him pre-snap, that shadowed him a little bit, that changed up some of their blitzes pre-snap. He doesn't always get great touch on his balls. That's something I saw. For the deep balls, it's okay. 15 yards down the field, 10 yards down the field, not some great touch. Can be difficult to catch. His technique is sloppy at times. It just needs some work, but I like the upside that he brings to the table. The next player, Bjoern Werner, the defensive end for Florida State, I was very impressed with him. He's an impressive physical specimen with 6'4", 265, 270. High motor. That's what I love. I mean, he goes 110% every play. He's driving guys back, even on obvious run plays, run downs, things that probably aren't going his way. He's working hard. Top-notch leg strength. I love how he drives the opposition. He seems to keep his profile low. He gets his hands inside the pads of the offensive lineman. That's impressive to me. He's a bull pass rusher. I think he could be a first-round pick. I mean, I think he's a late first-round talent right now. And I think he can move up if he develops more of a pass rush repertoire. He struggled against better competition, better offensive linemen. As you expect, you struggle a little bit more. I want to see him play in some big games and do well in some big games. His pass rush was inconsistent. He's a little slow off the snap. He gets by more on his strength than necessarily some of the athleticism that he brings to the table. He can be sloppy with his arm usage, especially if he's facing a better offensive tackle and he isn't getting penetration. He'll sometimes not get his hands inside and use them recklessly, but I really like his talent. I think it's a first-round pick, maybe even a future top 20 pick if he develops. The guy I really like, though, is Brandon Jenkins. Defensive end / outside linebacker. He probably is going to be versatile. I love him in the 3-4 scheme as an outside linebacker. Alden Smith really reminds me of Alden Smith on tape. I thought he should have come out this year. I thought he would have been a pretty first-round pick. So I really like him. He could go very high with another productive year. 2 years ago, he blew it up. Last year had a very solid season as well. Excellent first step. He plays mind games with his opponents. He varies the way he comes at them. I've seen some spin moves. I've seen him duck and run. I've seen him do a lot of different things to get to the quarterback and get into the backfield. He seemed to excel when stunting as well, which is something you don't always see. When he was on the defensive line, he would stunt inside. It was tough to stop him. I think that's pretty impressive and something that could be used in the NFL. He's tough to catch for a heavy-footed offensive lineman. Adequate when dropping back into coverage. It didn't happen a whole lot, but when it did, I thought he was okay. I thought he was good enough. I think he can learn and improve there. 3-4, ideal fit. He gets dominated when offensive linemen get their hands inside on him, though. He doesn't have that upper body strength to get out of that, or the lower body strength to get out of that. So some weight room work probably needs to be done. I don't think he's going to be a combine impresser, lifting the bench press or anything. How good is he against the run? I didn't see a whole lot of that. Even sometimes when he would kind of shy away from contact with bigger running backs. That's not something you want to see, but I like him as a pass rusher. It's a premium in the NFL right now. Next, defensive tackle, Everett Dawkins, a player I did not go in with on my list, and he impressed me. Not great at anything, but he's very good. I think he's a draftable prospect, very intriguing late-round guy that could move up. I mean, he's well-built. He has a frame to add some weight. He's already 300 pounds, so I think he could maybe become a nose tackle, maybe be a 5-tech even. I mean, he was a little big for that, but I think you can kind of mold him. So Not very dynamic, but really at the end of the year, started seeing penetration. I watched his second to last game, and very impressive in that game, getting into the backfield, stopping runners, still pretty young. He's not really a pass rusher, but just a name to watch out for. D-tackle, Everett Dawkins. Now, let's go to the secondary. Cornerback Xavier Rhodes might be one of my new man crushes because, and it's tough to watch with just the on-TV type of film, but man, he's impressive. Just physical at the line of scrimmage, and he's big. He's a huge. He's built like a Patrick Peterson type of player who can just knock you around, and he does it. Not a lot of college corners do it. Greg Reid opposite him doesn't do that. Xavier Rhodes does, and he does it very, very well. He sticks with number ones. He doesn't let them gain an inch. He looks like a shutdown corner and plays. I just think timing routes, there is very little you can do to get past Xavier Rhodes because he'll knock you off of your timing, and the quarterbacks could not adjust. A lot of bad passes against him were thrown because he knocked the receiver off of their timing route. Great. I mean, just good football IQ there. His hips can lock sometimes against faster players, but he's generally pretty smooth. Nice closing speed. He struggled with some of the faster, quicker receivers. Case in point, Clemson. Sammy Watkins, one of the best players in the country, did a very good job and made some big plays on him. Though they moved Sammy Watkins around in that game to get him away from Rhodes, get him some better matchups, which he did well. Time speed's got to be a question mark. It's not great. He's not this 4.3 guy. I don't even know if he's a 4.4 guy. So we'll see what that time ends up being. He's not a big playmaker. He's not going to get you picks, but I think he can be a Joe Hayden type of cornerback in the NFL, and you have to like what you see from that. So he plays it safe. He doesn't let players make the big catch. Now opposite him, Greg Reid, the other corner, is getting a lot of press too. I didn't see first-round talent from him. A lot of times the coverage was bracketed over to Reid's side because Rhodes didn't need it, and so a lot of his big plays came when it was double coverage or close to double coverage on the receiver who's covering. So it's a bit tough to evaluate. He seems a bit average to me. He's pretty fluid. He reacts well. Seems pretty athletic. So I think some teams will fall into that category. Nice hands in position when he can make plays. But sometimes he can be caught peeking at the quarterback in the backfield, and he loses the receiver. The receiver makes a big play on him. I saw that a couple times, which is just a mental issue. It needs corrected. Very good at forcing receivers to change their routes against the sideline, though. He uses the sideline disadvantage. But he seemed to really benefit from being next to a shutdown corner like Xavier Rhodes. That's always a question mark. I don't know if he's a number one corner in the NFL. And so if you're taking a corner in the first round, you want him to be your number one guy. I think he's more of a top 50 pick, maybe top 75. So there's upside to work with. We'll see what happens this year. But Greg Reid wasn't as impressed as a lot of people. And finally, I'm going to talk about their kicker, Dustin Hopkins. I just had the game playing, and I was impressed. You could hear the ball come off his foot really well. Good distance kicker. I think he can be good on kickoffs. I think he can be a starter in the NFL. So there's my breakdown of Florida State Seminoles. Not sure who I'm going to do next. I would try to do someone next week, late next week, and see what I can get up. If you have any recommendations, hit me up on Twitter @ShanePHallam. If there's a specific team you want me to watch. Thanks, everyone, for watching.